Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for September 17th, 2024. We're going to get started with the sniper trade of the day. And this is SPY on the 3-minute. This was the close. This is a large gap up. This is the OR3. So I'm ready to go long or short back to the if that thing collapses, then this price action here and where the PSAR was when it closed, this will all act as support. It would also act as a target if this thing collapses. So that's the kind of move I would be looking for. There's the open. It immediately works against me. It starts selling off hard. A bit of recovery, but then starts selling again. So I take the 0.8 loss. -1 loss, essentially. It makes a new low of the day, so I re-enter short. And now I'm re-entering short because I see this and I see the little doji above the VWAP, and it did not go. It rolled over instead, and now it breaks below the VWAP, breaks below the low of the day. So I feel good about taking that short with the standard risk box here. Starts working in my direction. Grinding, crosses the VWAP, so I just take the half-an-hour loss. It breaks above the PSAR, so I take that. That's essentially a emerging dragon with the same standard risk of $1. The R10 rolls over. This doesn't feel good. Yep. Ended up scratching instead of getting a fraction. I should have gotten a fraction on that. Probably, in retrospect, if I could get out here as it comes through the dragon or at the skin of the spine of the dragon, either one of those would let me get a no lose plus dinner for 2. Instead, I let that thing come all the way back and scratch. That feels a little sloppy to me. Part of it was that was an all-time high. This little peak up in here, that was an all-time high, so it's supposed to go, and so I was believing in it. So I re-enter once again. There's a new all-time high, and comes back and hits the PSAR, so it's minus 0.3. So now I'm down 1.8 on a day when the Bollinger Band mean is rising. I just can't get out of my own way. So now it comes through the VWAP, the intraday VWAP in a strong way. So I try a short again. Scratches. It's supposed to fail and it didn't. Then at about 11:30, I noticed the following. So I have a high, a lower high, another lower high, and then the Bollinger Band 30 has rolled over. It's now below the VWAP, and it is below this R10. So this actually is a collapsing dragon and kind of a kata 2 collapsing dragon, because we have this 1, 2, 3, and then this collapse. So it looks like this. It rolls up, comes down, makes a lower high, and then comes to here. So this is the form of collapsing dragon I like best, in that it's violating this right here, and it has a lower high, so it feels like it's this breakdown could be big. So the collapsing dragon happens at 11:30, and we're at minus 1.8 in hand. So the afternoon trade looks like this. That's the same entry at 11:30 on the new chart, just so there's enough room to see it. So we're at 11:30, and this is that where it has come through the VWAP. That's your dollar risk. Now it's working. Really working. If you exit there, I'm fine with that. You'd have to re-enter again once it breaks below. I stayed with it and take the skin of the dragon exit. So that gives me 3 to offset the minus 1.8. There's a SSC when it breaks through the dragon and breaks through the PSAR, and I'm able to get another 0.3. So the net, there was a lot of work there. Minus 1.8 on the first chart, 3.3 on the second one. So it nets 1.5, and that's a pretty good day at work. The main thing to remember is they all look the same leaving the station. You know, the justification for that trade was the same as all the justifications for the earlier trades. It's just they didn't work out. It doesn't mean I'm dumb or that the patterns are bad. It's just that they're probabilistic events. That's all. Each trade is the first of the next 1,000 trades. So you've got to have the resilience and disinterestedness to be able to keep taking your trades. The afternoon session is every bit as valid as the morning session. Here's just an example. Jonathan gets chewed up in here. Now, let's take a look at what we got. This is fine. You know, you got this, you're below the VWAP, you're below this cluster, you're in the winter. That feels okay. It reverses. I might take this here. I might take it at the skin of the dragon. He takes, or spine of the dragon. He takes it here. That should be a stop and reverse. You got a 1, 2, 3. You're on the north side of the VWAP. There's your risk. Enter here. That could be a second entry. Now, if you do enter here and this rolls over, at one point we were 0.5 to the good. You can't let that go to minus 0.3. That hurts your feelings. And then by this time, the combination of other trades out of emotional energy and then misses that 3R trade going this way. It's just sort of the way it happens. You've got to maintain a deep emotional bank account to maintain your resilience. The afternoon session is every bit as tradable as the morning session. And success or failure in the morning does not mean you're going to be successful or failing in the afternoon. Completely different session. You got to have your mind right. Energy gets chewed up in here. This re-entry is slow, I think. I get it. It's emerging dragon. The R10 doesn't even come through the dragon. We might have been able to get this earlier. I like that. A re-entry here still works and gives you this trade. But again, I think this, when this When this trade fails to cross a rising Bollinger Band, meaning comes back north of the VWAP, that's fine as an exit, but you got to enter right away. That's your kata 2 instead of the emerging dragon. If you like the ED, you should love the kata 2. Because if this fails, you're back into the trade you want. So let's start winning this trade right in here. If you've got a 50% win rate, 3 losses in a row is a statistical normality. So you can't let 3 losses in a row kick you out of the zero state. We gotta work on that. Feelings instead of rational rules. That's the issue here. We got to take that as such a routine entry that pays for your whole day. Yeah, this is Kevin. Yeah, that's the same one. The long scratches, the short immediately fails. There's upside pressure on this thing already. You got to hit that. And the second position with an exit here, that probably would have been 4R. EWZ, this is all reasonable. Yep, that's the afternoon trade, all reasonable. Points net 0.6. Let's see, this one is PSAR flip 1.9 and a good day at work. Yeah, we made a new all-time high today. And we still kind of got rising lows. You've got the 3-day anchored VWAP pointing its way higher, the 5-day, the 10-day, the 30-day beginning to unwind, the 150-day. All this is good and an all-time high. No resistance overhead. This is trading territory. Bullish normal, overbought across the board, except that there was a bit of a pullback in the afternoon, which brings it down a little bit. Volatility is still favoring short-term trading. In the Dow 30, you had strength in Caterpillar, Disney, and Microsoft. 4 pretty good setups for auto framers in Boeing, Goldman, JP Morgan, and United Health. In the ETFs, a broad mix of strength. It was a quiet day, but grinding north. And only Japan is on the auto framer. So most everything is at the very top of their 10-day ranges. So is it saturated or is that establishing some optimism? I don't know. Well, but I'm ready to trade it short term in either direction at these heightened levels. Boeing, Goldman Sachs. So you got some financials that are favorably setting up. Just Yeah, only Devon Energy is on the better than 2-1. Look, everything is so close to the 10-day high that that's actually a market condition. Equal mix between summer and winter. Broad-based strength across the board in the US and the globals. This is a fireworks getting ready to fire. all the usual suspects in the frog list. Nvidia, marijuana, Tesla. Intel is en fuego right now. That partnership that they have with Amazon, plus there's probably some government money coming to them. The S&P pausing near the top of this range. But there's still room for this thing to go. At some key test levels. Yeah, the 90 has pulled back enough that it could actually resume. The 30 is not exaggeratedly steep up, and this still has room to go. There's still room for a couple days of upside explosions here. And all it's got to do is get above this, and up we go. I like the higher lows. All right, that's everything for today. We'll get this published and posted and be ready for them tomorrow. Take good care.